The message arrived during the quietest hour of Earth's deep space monitoring station. Lieutenant Kong had been alone with his thoughts, watching the usual cosmic static dance across his screens when an unmistakable pattern emerged from the noise. "This isn't random," he whispered, adjusting his headphones. The signal repeated its cycle, mathematical at first, then something more complex. Something with meaning. Lieutenant Kong hesitated only briefly before pressing the emergency alert. Within minutes, Director Jean hurried into the room, her uniform hastily fastened. "What have you found?" she asked, leaning over his console. "A signal, ma'am. Definitely artificial. Coming from the Arcturus sector." Director Jin's eyes widened as she studied the pattern. "Have you run the first contact protocols?" "Yes, ma'am. The computer confirms it's not from any Earth vessel or known probe." The signal continued to stream in, growing stronger. Something about it felt urgent, almost desperate. Lieutenant Kong worked through the night alongside the station's best analysts, feeding the alien transmission through every decryption algorithm they had. By morning, they had their first translations. Help. Extinction. Enemy. Consuming. The words were fragmented but clear enough in their terrible meaning. Whatever civilization had sent this message was dying. Earth's Unified Military Council gathered in an emergency session. The 12 highest-ranking military officials from Earth's coalition government sat around a circular table, faces grave as they watched the presentation. "The signal originates from a star system roughly 80 light-years distant," explained Professor Han, the lead xenolinguist. "We believe the transmission has been repeating for approximately 60 years, growing weaker over time." "So whoever sent it might already be gone?" asked General Moon, her voice steady despite the implications. "Possibly," Professor Han admitted. "But our latest analysis suggests some transmissions are more recent. The Ardani, that's what they call themselves, are still fighting." The room fell silent as Professor Han displayed the most recently decoded images. Planets burning. Vast ships of unknown design harvesting something from devastated worlds. And creatures, tall, with luminescent skin, being systematically hunted. "The aggressors call themselves the Void Collective," Professor Han continued. "They appear to be exterminating the Ardani completely. No prisoners, no mercy." Admiral Yoon, the eldest of the council members, spoke up. "Why would they share this with us? What do they expect humanity to do?" Professor Han hesitated. "Sir, it's not just information. It's a request. They're asking for help." The debate that followed lasted hours. Some argued that humanity had only recently united after its own devastating wars. Earth's military fleet, while advanced, had never ventured beyond the solar system in force. Others pointed out that revealing Earth's existence to unknown cosmic powers could bring the same fate upon humanity. "We don't know if we can trust this message," General Choi argued. "This could be a trap to draw us out. Or it could be exactly what it seems," countered Admiral Park. "A dying civilization's last hope." In a small observation room connected to the council chamber, Lieutenant Kong and Director Jean watched the debate unfold on monitors. They had been the first to hear the cry from the stars, but now the decision was out of their hands. "What do you think they'll decide?" Kong asked quietly. Director Jin's eyes remained fixed on the screens. "I don't know. But I keep thinking about our own history. How many times did people cry out for help while others just watched?" The final vote came late in the evening. It wasn't unanimous, but the decision was made. Humanity would answer the call. Within days, the first fleet of Earth's finest ships began preparations for departure. Captain Min stood on the bridge of the EFS Horizon, watching as crew members made final checks on systems never designed for the journey they were about to undertake. "Are we doing the right thing?" asked his first officer. Captain Min looked out at the stars, wondering which one held the Ardani in its light. "I believe we are. What makes us human if not the willingness to help others?" As Earth's fleet prepared to depart, a final transmission was sent toward the Ardani worlds. It was simple, direct, and would take decades to reach them at light speed. "We heard you.
We are coming. Hold on.
The message from Earth streaked across the void, carrying humanity's first response to the wider galaxy.
Not one of fear or isolation, but of determination.
Whatever waited for them among the stars, humanity would face it together. The journey took years. Even with Earth's best engines pushing the fleet to speeds that bent the laws of physics, space remained vast beyond human comprehension. Captain Min spent most of the voyage in cryosleep, waking only for monthly status checks and to record his thoughts in the mission log.
Day 347 of our journey, he spoke into the recorder. The crew remains in good spirits despite the isolation. We still don't know what we'll find when we arrive.
Lieutenant Song, the ship's sensor officer, was the first to detect their destination.
Captain, we're approaching the Ardani home system. Initial scans show.
Her voice trailed off as data flooded her screen.
Captain Min moved to her station. What is it? Devastation, sir. Massive orbital debris fields.
Thermal readings consistent with ongoing planetary fires.
The fleet slowed as they entered the system.
7 planets circled a yellow star, but most showed signs of catastrophic damage. The third planet, which their data suggested was the Ardani homeworld, had vast burning continents visible even from space.
Life signs? Captain Min asked quietly.
Officer Song adjusted her instruments.
Faint readings from the fourth moon of the gas giant. It appears to be some kind of mining colony or outpost. Captain Min ordered the fleet to approach cautiously.
As they neared the moon, they detected primitive defense systems activating.
A weak transmission in broken mathematical code reached them, a warning to stay away.
Open a channel, Captain Min ordered. Send the first contact package with translation protocols.
Minutes passed in tense silence before a reply came.
The main screen flickered to life, showing a creature unlike anything humans had seen before. Tall and slender with iridescent skin that seemed to pulse with light, the alien had 4 arms and large, expressive eyes.
Its body bore markings that looked disturbingly like battle scars.
You are, not Void, the translation matrix converted.
You are the signal from distant star?
We are humans from Earth, Captain Min replied.
We received your distress call 60 years ago. We've come to help.
The alien, clearly an Ardani, stared in what seemed like disbelief.
No one comes. No one ever comes when called. All hide from Void. Captain Min straightened his uniform. We're not hiding anymore. How many of your people survive? Less than 10,000, came the reply. I am Ron, last commander of Ardani Defense Force. We hide here in old mining tunnels. Void thinks we are all dead.
The human fleet established a secure perimeter around the moon while shuttles descended to the surface. Captain Min led the first diplomatic team, bringing medical supplies and food compatible with Ardani biology according to their scans.
The Ardani lived in a network of underground chambers, illuminated by bioluminescent fungi. Children with dimly glowing skin hid behind adults as the humans entered their sanctuary.
Many were injured or malnourished.
Ron introduced the human delegation to the Ardani Council, 5 elders who seemed ancient even by their species standards.
Why would you cross stars for strangers? Asked one elder, her skin barely glowing with age. Because it was the right thing to do, Captain Min answered simply. The humans learned that the Void Collective had appeared without warning a century earlier. The Ardani, a peaceful species skilled in arts and biological sciences, had never developed significant military technology. They were systematically hunted, their cities destroyed, their people taken for unknown purposes. They harvest us, Ron explained.
Take many alive to their great ships. Never return. As the humans helped distribute supplies and set up medical stations, alarms suddenly blared throughout the settlement. An Ardani communications officer rushed into the chamber. Void ships. 3 destroyers entering orbit.
Captain Min activated his communicator.
All ships, battle stations. Protective formation around the moon. Fear rippled visibly across Ron's luminescent skin. You should run.
Void technology is beyond any resistance.
Captain Min shook his head. That's not why we came across 70 light-years.
On the main view screen of the EFS horizon, 3 black ships appeared angular and threatening, absorbing rather than reflecting light. They moved with precision that suggested advanced technology.
They haven't detected us yet, reported Officer Zhong. Our stealth systems are holding. Captain Min watched the enemy ships approach. For the first time since leaving Earth, humanity would reveal its true capabilities to the stars. All ships, initiate attack pattern Omega, he ordered. Show them what happens when you threaten those under human protection.
As the human fleet decloaked and moved into formation, Ron watched from the command center with wide eyes.
You will fight for us? Knowing what they are capable of? Captain Min's expression was calm but determined. That's exactly what we're going to do.
The stars were about to witness something they had never seen before. Humanity at war. The first battle lasted less than 20 minutes. The Void Collective ships, accustomed to easy victories against defenseless worlds, found themselves surrounded by Earth vessels that moved in patterns they couldn't predict. Humanity's ships darted in and out of formation, using the moon's gravity to slingshot into attack positions. Their shields are absorbing our conventional weapons, reported Officer Zhong from her tactical station. The main screen showed energy blasts dissipating harmlessly against the black hulls of the enemy ships. Captain Min nodded grimly.
Then we use unconventional weapons. Authorize fusion lance deployment. A ripple of anticipation passed through the bridge crew.
The fusion lance had never been used outside of testing grounds. Designed to channel the power of a controlled star, it was humanity's most closely guarded secret. Targeting the lead destroyer, Officer Zhong confirmed, her fingers dancing across the controls. From the underbelly of the EFS horizon, a panel slid open. A cylinder of pure energy gathered, swirling and condensing until it burned white-hot. When it released, the beam cut through space like a surgeon's knife, slicing cleanly through the Void ship's shields and hull.
The enemy vessel split in two, secondary explosions rippling along its length before it went dark. The remaining Void ships immediately altered course, attempting to retreat.
They're running, someone on the bridge said in disbelief.
Captain Min leaned forward.
Don't let them escape to warn others.
Disable their engines. Earth's fleet moved with practiced precision.
One Void ship was captured intact while the other was crippled beyond repair. When the battle ended, Ron and the other Ardani emerged from their shelters, their skin pulsing with colors humans had never seen before.
This is joy color, Ron explained, noticing Captain Min's curious expression. We had forgotten how to make it.
Within days, the news of humanity's victory spread through what remained of the Ardani population. Hidden survivors emerged from countless concealed bunkers and caves. For the first time in decades, they walked under open skies without fear. Admiral Yoon arrived with the second wave of Earth ships, bringing construction equipment and defensive installations. As the ranking officer, she convened a strategy meeting aboard her flagship.
The Void Collective will return, she stated plainly. Our intelligence from the captured ship confirms they've never encountered resistance like ours before. They'll be curious and vengeful.
Captain Min studied the holographic display showing nearby star systems.
We need to evacuate the remaining Ardani. This position isn't defensible long-term.
Evacuate to where? Asked Commander Shin, his brow furrowed.
Earth is too far. Admiral Yoon pointed to a star system 3 light-years distant.
Here. The second planet is habitable, and its dense asteroid field provides natural cover for our fleet. The evacuation began immediately.
Human ships carried thousands of Ardani refugees while engineers worked to salvage useful technology from their abandoned settlements.
The Ardani brought what little they could: historical records, cultural artifacts, and the bioluminescent plants that had sustained them during their hiding. On the 12th day, as the last transports prepared to depart, long-range sensors detected a massive energy signature approaching the system.
Void fleet incoming, Officer Song announced. Much larger than before.
I count at least 30 capital ships.
Admiral Yoon studied the tactical display. They're not just coming to finish the Ardani.
They're coming for us now. She ordered a small detachment of ships to complete the evacuation while the main fleet prepared for battle. Human scientists and engineers worked alongside Ardani specialists, examining the captured void vessel to understand its weaknesses. Their ships are partially organic, explained Dr. Nam, Chief Science Officer. They use living tissue as computational systems. That's why our fusion weapons were so effective. The energy disrupted both their technology and their biological components.
Admiral Yoon nodded.
Then we target those systems specifically. When the Void Fleet arrived, they found not cowering prey but a human armada in perfect battle formation.
Admiral Yoon stood on her bridge, watching the enemy approach.
All ships, implement battle plan Thunderstorm, she commanded.
Focus fire on their command nodes.
The space between the fleets lit up with energy discharges as the battle began. Earthships moved in complex patterns, never staying still long enough to become easy targets. The void ships, massive and powerful but slower to maneuver, struggled to track them.
From the bridge of the evacuation transport, Ron watched the distant flashes of combat with the remaining Ardani elders.
Your people fight like nothing we have ever seen, one elder remarked. Not with greater technology, but with unpredictability.
Ron's skin pulsed with worry colors. Will they survive? As if an answer, a brilliant flash erupted at the center of the battle.
One of the largest void ships had been captured intact, a command vessel containing valuable intelligence and technology.
We're not just surviving, transmitted Admiral Yoon to all ships as the remaining void fleet scattered in disarray. We're taking the fight to them next.
For the first time in a century of darkness, the Ardani dared to hope. The captured void command ship drifted silently in the orbit of the new Ardani refuge world.
Human and Ardani scientists worked day and night to understand the alien vessel.
Its interior was unlike anything humans had encountered before, corridors of material that seemed both metal and flesh, pulsing with unknown energy. Dr. June led the research team, carefully documenting every discovery. On the seventh day of exploration, they found something disturbing in the ship's central chamber.
These aren't just equipment, Dr. June said, scanning a row of pod-like structures. These are containment units. Inside the transparent sections of the pods were remains of different alien species.
Some had clearly been dissected, others seemed partly merged with machine components.
Dr. June's scanner revealed traces of Ardani DNA in several units. They're not just killing, she whispered. They're harvesting.
When Admiral Yoon received the report, she immediately called a meeting with the Ardani Council.
Ron and the elders listened in silent horror as Dr. June explained her findings. The Void Collective isn't a typical invasion force, she explained. They're collectors of biological material.
They seek out species with unique traits and incorporate them into their own technology and biology. But why the Ardani specifically? Asked Captain Min.
Ron's skin darkened with understanding. Our connection ability. We can share thoughts, feelings, memories through touch.
The Void wants this. Further examination of the command ship confirmed this theory. The Void Collective had been harvesting the Ardani's neural pathways to enhance their hive-mind communication systems. Worse, the data showed they had done this to dozens of other species across hundreds of star systems. They're a parasite on a galactic scale, Admiral Yoon concluded. And they've been operating unopposed for centuries. As the researchers continued their work, they made another discovery that changed everything. The command ship contained star charts marking targets for future collection.
Earth was prominently highlighted.
They know where we came from, Captain Min said gravely.
They're already planning to attack Earth.
Admiral Yoon ordered immediate preparations for defense, but the situation seemed dire. The Void Fleet they had encountered was just a small fraction of their total forces. According to the captured data, the collective commanded thousands of ships spread across multiple sectors of the galaxy.
That night, as human officers discussed strategy, Ron approached with 3 Ardani elders.
We have been in contact, the eldest said, her skin glowing faintly.
There are others who resist. Other Ardani survivors? Asked Admiral Yoon. No, Ron replied. Other species. Hiding as we were. Watching. Waiting. The Void believes them extinct, but they survive in secret.
The elder placed her four-fingered hand on a communication console.
Her skin brightened as she focused, somehow connecting directly with the technology.
The screen flickered to life, showing unfamiliar star patterns.
These are safe locations, she explained. Places where the hunted hide. For the first time, humans realized the true scale of the Void Collective's crimes.
Dozens of civilizations reduced to remnants, hiding in asteroid fields, beneath oceans, or in deep underground bunkers. All watching as their worlds were stripped of life.
Why have they never united against the Void? Captain Min asked.
Fear, Ron said simply. And no way to communicate safely across stars.
The Void monitors all standard transmission methods. Admiral Yoon studied the star chart thoughtfully.
But now we have their command ship. We can send messages using their own encrypted channels. Over the next weeks, humanity did something unprecedented in the galaxy's recent history. They reached out. Using the captured Void communication systems, they contacted the hidden survivors of other devastated worlds.
The message was simple. We are humanity from Earth. We stand against the Void. You are not alone anymore.
Responses came slowly at first. Many species were suspicious, believing it to be a Void trick. But gradually, representatives began to arrive at the Ardani refuge world, beings of all shapes and sizes, each with stories of horror and survival. A species of crystalline entities who could manipulate energy fields. Massive, gas-breathing creatures who lived in the upper atmospheres of gas giants. Small, rodent-like beings with remarkable technological skills. All had been hunted, all had lost their homeworlds.
In a great gathering hall built by human engineers, Admiral Yoon addressed the assembled representatives.
For too long, you have hidden in the shadows while the Void Collective consumed worlds, she said.
Humanity refuses to hide. We will fight.
A murmur passed through the crowd.
One representative, a towering insectoid being, stepped forward. Why would you risk everything for species not your own? Admiral Yoon's answer was simple, because that is what makes us human.
By the end of the gathering, a pact was formed. For the first time, the hunted species of the galaxy united under a single banner, one designed by a human artist and an Ardani elder together. It showed a human hand and an Ardani hand reaching toward each other, surrounded by symbols from all the allied species. The alliance was born, and with it, the first real hope of defeating the Void Collective.
The War Council met aboard Earth's flagship, now joined by representatives from 17 different species. Admiral Yoon had aged visibly during the 3 years of conflict, her once black hair now streaked with gray.
Yet her eyes remained sharp as she studied the holographic display showing the gathered fleets. The Void Collective is massing their forces here, she said, pointing to a star system near Earth's outer colonies. Our intelligence suggests this will be their final push to reach Earth. The alliance had grown stronger with each victory. Species that once had now fought alongside humans, bringing unique abilities and technologies to the battlefield. Yet the cost had been high. Nearly a third of Earth's original fleet had been lost in various engagements.
We cannot match their numbers, said Tak, the crystalline being who commanded the Lavari ships. His transparent body pulsed with light as he spoke. Even with all our combined forces. Admiral Yoon nodded.
Which is why we won't try to match them. We will use what they don't expect. She revealed humanity's final weapon, the Solar Lance platform. Unlike the smaller versions mounted on warships, this was a massive installation constructed in secret around a dying star.
It could channel enough energy to destroy entire fleets.
The platform is ready, reported Captain Min from his station.
But we have only one shot before the star goes supernova.
The plan was dangerous but simple.
The Alliance would lure the Void Armada into position near the dying star, then activate the Solar Lance.
The resulting blast would destroy both the Void fleet and, sadly, the star system itself.
We've evacuated all life from the target system, Admiral Yoon assured the Council. But our timing must be perfect. As the meeting concluded, Ron approached Admiral Yoon privately. The Ardani's skin glowed with concerned colors.
Your ship's in the lead formation, Ron said softly. they will not survive the initial blast wave.
Admiral Yoon's expression remained steady.
The captains of those ships volunteered.
They know what's at stake. The day of battle arrived too soon.
The Alliance fleet took positions around the dying star, deliberately appearing vulnerable. When void sensors detected them, the massive black ships of the collective emerged from hyperspace exactly as predicted, thousands of vessels appearing at once, surrounding the Alliance.
Admiral Yoon stood on her bridge, watching as the trap was sprung. All ships, execute Formation Phoenix.
The Alliance fleet moved with practiced precision. Smaller ships darted between the massive void cruisers, drawing their fire while larger vessels targeted the collective's command ships. Meanwhile, a special team led by Captain Min approached the Solar Lance platform.
"We're in position," Captain Min reported. "Awaiting your command." On the main view screen, Admiral Yoon could see the battle unfolding.
Alliance ships were falling fast, but they were inflicting significant damage on the enemy. The void ships, confused by the Alliance's seemingly suicidal tactics, began to cluster together for protection exactly where they needed to be.
"Captain Min," Admiral Yoon said quietly. "Activate the Solar Lance."
Captain Min's ship docked with the platform. His crew rushed to initialize the sequence, knowing they would not escape the blast. As the countdown began, Captain Min recorded one final message. "Let it be known that we died so others might live.
This is humanity's gift to the stars."
The dying star began to pulse as the Solar Lance drew energy from its core. A brilliant beam of light erupted, cutting through space itself. When it struck the center of the void fleet, the energy expanded outward in a perfect sphere of pure destruction.
Void ships disintegrated by the hundreds, then thousands.
Their biological components, so susceptible to the specific frequency of the Solar Lance, failed catastrophically. Systems across their fleet shut down simultaneously as the wave passed through them. From the bridge of her flagship, positioned safely behind a moon at the edge of the system, Admiral Yoon watched the light fade. Where Captain Min's ship and the Void Armada had been, there was now only scattered debris and the fading remnants of a star. "Signal all remaining ships," she ordered, her voice steady despite her grief.
"Move in and confirm enemy status."
The victory was complete but costly.
Over 40% of the Alliance fleet had been lost, including all ships in the inner formation.
But the Void Collective, the terror that had plagued the galaxy for centuries, had been broken. In the days that followed, Alliance ships found Void vessels drifting powerless throughout nearby systems.
Without their central command, the Collective fell into disarray.
Some ships self-destructed rather than face capture.
Others surrendered, their crews often revealing themselves to be victims rather than willing participants in the Collective's atrocities. 1 month after the battle, representatives from all allied species gathered on Earth.
It was the first time many of them had seen humanity's homeworld. In a ceremony broadcast to all corners of known space, they signed the Galactic Concordat, a pledge of mutual defense and cooperation. Ron, now serving as the Ardani ambassador, stood beside Admiral Yoon as they unveiled a memorial to those lost in the final battle. It was a simple stone pillar with names etched in every language of the Alliance. "Your people saved us all," Ron said, skin glowing with solemn gratitude. "The stars will remember humanity's fire."
Admiral Yoon touched the name of Captain Min on the memorial. "We answered a call.
That's all. Just as we hope others would answer if we called." As night fell on Earth, the stars seemed brighter somehow.
Throughout the galaxy, species that once lived in fear now looked upward with hope. The message had spread to every world: if darkness threatens, humanity will answer with light. And if necessary, with fire.